The vision would be that all students are involved in the middle school in creating this. The first thing that they would need to do is research and kind of come up with a rough design, so that way they have something to present when they're marketing their product. And around that time they could also start to begin construction. They could acquire funds to build more, and then promote their golf course, and then have people come and enjoy it. And then we thought it could enhance brotherhood by the collaboration effort, building this together, coming up with the ideas together, dividing roles evenly amongst their brothers. Responsibility obviously would be creating the course, running the course, keeping it clean and safe, and having those leadership roles to help kind of make sure everything is in order. Integrity, obviously making sure all the equipment stays there, doesn't walk off. Consistent process of how it's run, and the attitude towards the process. And then respect, I think that goes hand in hand, respect of people's ideas, and respect of the equipment and the care for the equipment.
Okay, so we bounced around a lot of different ideas for the 9th grade class, and one of the things that we found about 9th graders is that they're kind of stuck in this year between middle school and upper school, and they don't always, they have a good sense of brotherhood, but maybe not necessarily a good sense of responsibility and respect for each other, for the things around them, and for their living space. So what we decided to do is help the 9th graders work as a group throughout the entire year to be a disaster relief team for a natural disaster event that might happen in that particular year, especially given the fact that the past few years we've had a lot of disasters.
Our goal and objective was through a group hands-on experience that would help them gain respect and some type of responsibility, and actually create more of a humbling experience for them. Because basically we all know that when they're in a group here, they feel very comfortable in how they act, and they're not really worried about it. But when you bring them outside into a different community where others are looking in, they tend to change the way that they act. So we want to do something on campus and off campus to try to get them and basically develop that aspect of their personalities through whatever task we decided to do. So that's how we ended up coming up with the idea for Habitat for Humanity. And then everything that we're doing in the course of the year would lead up to a final accumulated, Habitat for Humanity, building an actual house.
We started out talking about the 4 different areas, respect, responsibility, and so forth, and the one that we focused on the most and in the beginning was a responsibility focus, and I think at the end we came right back to that, even though this will hit upon all 4. We came up with a mock trial exploration. This is something that is pretty implementable right off the bat, and with the exception of time, it should be free. We're working with 10th grade, so our first step is to meet with all 10th grade together and introduce the idea of a mock trial to them. And this whole project is going to hinge on anonymous confessions or dilemmas that they themselves produce to us. Whether they've experienced it or not, or heard about it or seen it, we want these experiences that they're seeing in a mock trial to be somewhat uncomfortable and ethical dilemmas that you don't really know what the correct outcome is. It might be right versus right or so forth. So we're going to meet with them as a group and introduce the project and say, we want you all to come up with a judge and a jury and someone who committed this crime and someone to be a prosecuting attorney and so forth and so forth. And they sit there and they decide this is what the correct outcome is, or that's what the correct outcome is. Then the second step is for the 10th grade groups in their teams of actors and role players to present to the entire student body. 10th grade then, in different groups, we present 3 to 4 different trials to the entire student body. And like we used yesterday with our phones to text in the votes, the jury would go back into their little chamber, and then we, as the congregation there in the alumni hall, we vote and we send in our decision for what the outcome should be, and that's what the jury then presents to the judge. And I thought that was so great yesterday when we got to watch as those results shifted, and you realize that your vote is maybe very different to what everyone else is voting, and you're thinking similarly or differently.
Part of our responsibility as an adult in this community is to provide opportunities for our boys to grow. And in 11th grade, to extend their help outward outwardly into the community, we thought was a very important endeavor. And when we were kind of brainstorming, we thought of, well, Mr. Lenardi brought up this place called First Step. And we thought that our mission would be to provide CFS students with a cooperative venture at First Step. They'll volunteer to provide and assist in meaningful activities, which I thought for preschool age children with disabilities, preschool age. So it really pulls at your heartstrings. With severe mental and physical discipline, and with Chester County, Rich had mentioned, are cutting back a lot of the funds for programs such as this. So to have our boys become involved in that is very important. Some of the goals that we had come up with was for our boys to understand other people's limitations and gain some compassion for that, and also to transcend their comfort zones, to be in public with people with disabilities and to kind of see how that feels and the integrity that kind of comes with that. And to understand and to learn how to combat judgment, judgment that might be placed on people who are even with people with disabilities. And understand conditions prior to the experience. We want our boys to be schooled on what they're kind of walking into beforehand. And we thought that this was the next level of community service. We do community service now, right? But this is sort of that next level because it's a way for CFS students to become more visible in the local community because it's a local endeavor, but also to go from community service to service learning and what they sort of get out of that.
This was to help students kind of see the interconnection that we have in the community, kind of boost their self-esteem up a little bit, and kind of help them realize that they already have all of these values instilled within them, you know, kind of before they leave. So we were thinking of kind of like a culminating kind of project that they could possibly even like bring to graduation or some kind of have it displayed in graduation, you know, for when family and friends come and everyone else. So it's going to be like a three-dimensional kind of DNA project. We were wrestling with ideas. Should it be a pyramid or just a building or a cube or something? So we thought a double helix is a pretty good idea where on the inside, basically students will be given their own kind of tile to work with where they can personalize it. It's theirs, and they're going to fill in, you know, some things on that tile like, what do I bring to the community? What experience have I gone through in my life that make me the individual that I am, that have boosted, you know, where do my values come from? What coincidences, what events have led me to this place and this point where I am right now in my life, right? Kind of that self-reflection piece that they can kind of see that all the events that kind of led up to where I am right now. And kind of on the outside are going to be all the shared experiences that they've been through together, right? That kind of the common strand that connects all of them. And we even thought that, you know, the faculty could participate and kind of hear some of the faculty stories. Here's how the faculty kind of lifts you up to help, you know, to help support the structure.